Hello and welcome everybody to the last day of the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. I'm your host Sam Peterson. It's been a fun 2 weeks. Hope you guys have been enjoying these. And today we're going to be going over how to make some process GIFs, however you want to say it, for your work. We're going to be talking a little bit about creating a Behance project if you haven't done that before, kind of wrapping it up with something a little simple but kind of shows you how to present your work. I want to say hi to everyone in the chat, by the way. Good to see everyone. Valdair, Gareth, Jennifer. I realized until the last second I didn't have the chat refresh, so chat wasn't displaying, and then I was like, oh man, that's probably important. General Kenobi, Susan, Odari, Sean, welcome on in. Good to see you all as usual. Love the vintage challenge. Thanks, Paula. I'm glad to hear that. That's great. Yeah, I've been really enjoying seeing everyone's submissions in the Discord. And on that note, hello, Frank. On that note, let's jump into how to join these challenges or how to find them if you have not done so already. So you can go over to the landing page here at behance.net/challenge/Photoshop, and it'll take you to the challenge page here. You'll see this big blue button at the top. That's how you register for these challenges. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see all the challenges that we've done throughout these 2 weeks. Now, there's a possibility you're watching this in the future, and if that is the case, the title down below will say Creative Encore. That means this is a replay, but the chat is live. You're welcome to do these basically for the 2 weeks that we do these live, and then there's going to be 2 weeks of replays of the same challenges afterwards. So it gives you a month total to work on these challenges. If you weren't able to do any, if you need extra time for any of them, it gives you some ample time to kind of play around and get those done. And when you do that, you can submit them into the Discord. So let me pull that up real quick. The Discord is going to be the place where you can share these. You can get feedback from mentors and all that good stuff. Let me just reload it here. There we are. So this is the Discord, the Photoshop Discord. And I believe, let me see here. All right, yeah, so we're in the challenge section. If you go to feedback, you'll see the challenge section. And this is where you can look at any of the current challenges that are being done. You can submit your own if you've done any. So for all these challenges that we've done for the next 4 weeks, you're welcome to, or the 4 weeks in total, 2 of live, 2 of replay, you're welcome to post any of those here. If you're posting any from previous challenges, you can go to the past design section, past challenges, and there's design other for your own personal designs. If you have something that's not related to these challenges, but you want to share, get feedback, all that good stuff, this is the place to check it out. Chad, Bruce, good to see everyone. What's up? Andreas. What else? We have mentors in the Discord. I am a mentor myself. We also have Ted. We have Valdair. So any of us might be giving you feedback if you want feedback. You can give other people feedback. I always encourage you to kind of, give input to other people as well. We have a lot of, people kind of getting and receiving feedback, answering questions, asking questions. So it's a very helpful community. So definitely check it out. There's been some really great challenges. I've been enjoying these. Great perspective on this. I think this was an updated one. This looks great. Big improvement for sure with the perspective. So excellent job, everybody. And let me pull this up real quick. I also wanted to mention that with the challenges, you can always find past challenges. If you scroll down, you'll see the dates here. So if you're ever looking for these challenges in the future or any of the challenges that we've done in the previous months, you can find them all down here. And you can also find this button here to get Photoshop if you're completely new and you don't have it, you want to try it out. And there's the chat with the community, which will take you to the Discord. So if you're watching these and you don't have the link put in the chat, you can always find it on the challenge page. So with that, I think we can jump on into some Photoshop. So I thought this would be a good challenge to end it with, to end all the challenges with, because this is really a lesson just on presentation. I don't know if you guys have ever seen me give feedback in the Discord where I post a process GIF. Essentially, I think it's helpful to, if I'm doing like a paint over or I'm tweaking something, sometimes I just find it easiest to show rather than try to describe it like, I was going to say verbally, but through text. But it really helps when you can see the change happen like in real time. Like You can see the image as it was and then see exactly how it changed. So I like to make these process GIFs, and I don't know. I think I've almost made like 200. I think I'm like 190 something that I've done over the years. But I think that's really helpful just to show like how I would tweak something or what I'm trying to verbalize to someone and just show that. But I also do it for showing off my process for different images I've made. So I'll see if we have time today. But I do a lot of character painting. If you guys check out my Behance profile, you'll see I do a lot of like fantasy characters and stuff like that. So a lot of times I like to show this, how I build it up from start to finish. And I think for presentation purposes for your Behance portfolio or anything like that, it's good to show the process. So you've probably seen that a lot of times where you see like the initial thumbnails or sketches, the mock-ups, whatever you're doing, depending on the kind of design that you do. It really is good to show the process, and sometimes you might want to animate that. So I want to show you a little way I do that in case anyone hasn't made animated GIFs in Photoshop before, and you kind of want to see the process. We can go over that briefly. And this is a big reason I advocate naming your layers, organizing your layers, and keeping your documents pretty clean and organized, because it makes things like this much easier. If you need to go back and show the process, find different layers at different stages of development for that particular project. Keeping everything organized is, I don't know, your future self will thank you for it. Oh, thanks, Clarissa. I appreciate that. 200 almost. I forget what I'm at, but I was like, I'm going for that 200. It's actually been a while since I've done it. I don't always do them unless it's just really easy to show compared to tell, but we'll get there. Ted, hello, by the way. I don't know if I said hey to you. Hope you're doing well today. So let's do it. Let's jump into it. You can see I have fairly organized layers. This was from a previous challenge, as you may remember, playing with fire. I thought this was kind of a fun one, so I thought this could be a cool one to do a process of. So first and foremost, I'm going to group the set of layers that we have just to make this a little easier on myself. I'm going to do that with Control or Command G after selecting all of them. I held on Shift, click the top one, and then click the bottom one just to select all of them. And I'm going to expand that. And this way, I can just click on top of the folder, because if you minimize or you hide a layer and you do this command, we're going to do this command in a second. It's Control or Command Alt Shift E. It's kind of a long one. It won't do it. You have to be doing it on top of a layer that's currently visible. So if the group is visible, it works. But it basically takes a snapshot and merges all the layers that are currently visible into one single layer. So I use this all the time for this process, but Control or Command Alt Shift E. There we go. You can see it created a new layer. Little snapshot here. And what I want to do is hide that, and I want to work through the layers and kind of display it in a way that I think would be fun to show it off. So this requires a little bit of thought, but for example, maybe we'll take some layers of the flame off, and that'll be the next stage. Actually, you know what? I may want to work this up from the beginning. I think that would be better. I think that would make a little bit more sense. It really depends how you want to display the piece you're doing. Sometimes I work in very clear stages where it's like line work, flat colors, shadows and light, block in, painting, etc. So if you have a pretty refined workflow, this might be a bit easier. But let's just take everything off at first. I want to show it from the very beginning. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to right click this mask and do, let's see, select the mask, right click, disable layer mask. That's what I want. And from here, I'm going to go back and group it. I think I forgot to group it again. Command or Control G, expand that. There we go. Now I can select the group and do Control Alt Shift E. Create a little snapshot. I like that. I'm going to minimize it. And I like to see it from the beginning because it helps me kind of view like what do I want to show off. So I'm going to do apply layer mask. I'm going to put the, whoops, not apply. Select that layer mask. Oh, there we go. Well, it re-enabled it for us. So from here, maybe I just want to show that I masked it out. I want to show that step of the process. So I'm going to do Control Alt Shift E. It's just a hotkey that I have like muscle memory down for, and I'm gonna bring it on top of the other one just to keep it organized. And you can kind of see from here, what do I want to show off? I think I want to show off the flames next. So I'm not necessarily doing it in the exact order that I have it in the document, but I'm kind of doing the order that I created it. I think the first 3 looks kind of cool. So once again, group, click on the group, Control-Alt-Shift-E, bring that up. It's a fairly repetitive process, as you can see, but it's really just about showing off like the major steps that you want to show. So I think that's a good place. I want to show like 3 layers of flames being created. Control or Command Alt Shift E. Bam. Hide that, and then I think the last bit of the flames will look pretty good. So that looks good to me. Same thing, click the group, do our little hotkey, bring that at the top. Now I'm not sure how many layers this is going to be. It's really up to you on what you're trying to kind of show off, and how big you want the file size to be. But from here, we did our little flame. I think that's a great step where you can kind of see the glow from the flames in context and why we did that and how it changes the picture. And then I think that's pretty much it. We got the shadow and then we got the eyes. I'll just put both of those together. And that is it. So our hotkey, bring it to the top. And I think that will look pretty good. So I'm going to delete all the other layers. It's not a bad idea to like rename the document when you're doing this to like process GIF, like playing with fire process GIF. Just because I am deleting layers because we only want the frames that we're going to use. So I'm going to unlock these 2 top ones, delete that. I think this group isn't locked, so I'm just going to shift select all of it, delete. And now we have only the layers that we want. We can kind of take a look and see how those come across. So I think that's pretty good. Cycle through it, kind of see what the process looks like. I like that. That's pretty good. So from here, we want to animate this as a GIF. And how do we do that? We go to Window up at the top, and then you go to Timeline, and it brings up this little timeline here. And if you click this arrow, you'll see we can create a video timeline or create a frame animation. We want to leave it on frame animation, then we want to click that button for frame animation. Hopefully my head won't be blocking this too much. I can flip over from side to side if need be. But you'll see we have all the frames here. I mean, we want to create frames from the layers, and there's a handy little tool for that. So if you see the hamburger icon over here on the top right of the tool timeline, or the timeline window, click that and do make frames from layers. Now I'm probably in the way here, but you can see it created all these. And the settings we kind of want to pay attention to are the seconds involved and the looping amount, which I'm keeping on forever. So if we play that as it is, that's what it looks like. Just one frame to another. But what you can do is you can click on one, shift, hold on shift, and then click, select all of them. And you can change the time here with this little arrow to like, let's try a second. And again, you kind of have to think about how you want to show this to people. I think having a full second is good because you can kind of see these steps cleanly. You can see, okay, he added a few layers of this fire. It was multiple images, added that glow. You can always slow it down. You can even type your own. So if we select these, shift select, do other, I could do like 1.5 seconds. Now they're all 1.5 seconds. I do that sometimes for my personal pieces, just if I want people to see each image a bit more, but that looks good to me. GIF is for those who say girl. GIF, I don't know how to say each one. Yeah, I was wondering if this was gonna start a little bit of flame war in chat. You know, I didn't mean to come in to this last challenge with such a controversial topic. GIF, you know, either one, whatever you say. I just want to pick one. My hope is just that someday we can live in a world where people who say GIF and people who say GIF can all just get along in harmony. So that's my dream for today, for today's challenge. If you go up to File, you can go to Export, and we can do Saved for Web. That's what we're gonna do. To set up in the middle, yeah. I'll bounce around if I need, but hopefully that was pretty clear. I'll say GIF. Yeah, that's what I do sometimes, just to either anger everyone or please everyone. I'm not really sure. All right, so from here, the settings that I want to keep, we'll go over some of the settings. I have them kind of in like the highest quality. It depends on what file size you want to go to. So we're getting dangerously high here. It's 7.5 megabytes. You can see the file size. It's probably hard to see on my screen because it's kind of small. But here in the bottom left-hand corner of this window, it says the size. It says how many. Okay, here it is. Yeah, it says basically all the settings here. 100% dither, 256 colors. So I want to talk about that. Colors is 256. That's the highest amount of colors. If you have less, it's going to be more simplified. It's also going to be a smaller size. But I want the highest quality possible, so I'm going to do 256. Dither I have at 100%. That's basically like the smoothness and transition between colors. Like if two pixels are next to each other, it's going to kind of add like an in-between color that blends them. So it's just kind of a smoother color blending. The higher you have that, the bigger the file size is going to be. If I lower the dither, you can actually see the file size will drop. It's loading. Yeah, it dropped significantly, 4.8 megabytes. But I want to keep it tops. Now, one thing to consider when you're doing this is that Discord, I think, caps off at 8 megabytes. So if you want to post this to Discord, you want to keep these things in mind just to make sure you're going to be able to post it where you need to. So this looks good to me, 256, 100% dither. You want to keep the looping animation forever here at the bottom. And I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to do save. And then we'll do playing with fire GIF. And I can save it there. It'll take a moment. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention once it's done loading is you can make these smaller. So this is a full resolution file. 3000 pixels, 3500 pixels tall. Not necessarily the size it needs to be just for an animation. It depends on you and your purposes. But if I was just posting this to Discord, I would maybe put it at like 1500 height or 2000 pixels tall. But that's going to be a large part of the reason that this is a bit of a larger file size. We're almost hitting that 8 megabyte cap. And we don't have that many frames. We only have 7 frames, so I don't think that's a big part of it. So here we go. It's in my folder. Pop it up. We got our little process. So hopefully that was helpful. I want to go over really quick, how I might do this for a piece that I work on normally. So for this Mind Flayer Bard, I like to keep my layers pretty organized. So this is the finished piece. So I'm just going to select this folder and do that Command or Control Alt Shift E. And what I like to do here is I slowly just take off layers. So I start with a finished piece. Those are the adjustment layers. It's not a big enough change. How about this? How about between this layer and this? And I actually take these snapshots of layers. Like I'll merge layers down into a single, I'll merge a bunch of layers down into a single layer just to keep it organized. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to Control or Command Alt Shift E. We got another one. You can kind of toggle between them to see, is that the change I want to show? That's pretty good. But you'll see these are merged layers. Maybe you can't see that because my big old head. I merge these down. I usually name them. I'm not so good here, but I'll name it like the major stages. The flat colors, block in, all these things. So if you have a refined workflow, it's good to keep this in mind while you're working, in case you ever need to send the files to other people, in case you need to go back and do something with the file later to show it for presentation purposes, any of that stuff. So I kind of try to keep these major stages because I specifically like to be able to show this stuff off if I need to. That's a good step. Go back up to the folder, Control Alt Shift E. And that's pretty much just what I do. I'll click it on and off. That's a cool stage. So I'll go do this. And it's kind of a repetitive process, like I said, but once you get it down, you can do it really quick. You can just cycle through all these. That looks good. Take a quick snapshot, put it in the pile. Oh, whoops. I got to make sure to undo that. And then I think the only thing I'm missing here from this personal piece is the lighting. I like to show the lighting in one pass. So there's just the flat colors. We can take away the platform. I can undo some of the painting in the background. And so this just makes it really easy to show the different major stages of each part of my painting. I think from here, it's really just take off the background. And the last step is the lines. So now, snapshot that the way we did before. And I got this little process. And I think you can kind of click it on and off here and see if it looks good. But I think those are all pretty decent changes that show the development of this piece from start to finish. So if anyone hadn't seen my process before, well, now you have. And I think it's fun to make these. And you know, you can put them in your Behance project or anything like that. So lines, flat color, lighting, painting block in, you know, some details and patterns. And this is just painting and refining these last two layers. So I can go back, and you have to make sure there's nothing locked in your folder. It won't let you delete it. And again, I don't like to do this on the original document, so I usually make a backup document for the animation specifically, because that makes me scared. There. Now we have just these layers. I can do the same thing, create frame animation, hamburger menu here in the top right of the timeline, make frames from layers, select one, shift, select the others. I like to do like 1.5 seconds, just so people can see each stage a little bit more clearly. And that is it. So I can export this as well. I'll post this in the Discord. I can check the file size before I export it. If the height is a bit too much, we can just do like 2500. This will help us save on size. Yeah, I think the process GIFs are a lot of fun. I love seeing other people when they do it. I think just seeing people's process in general is really exciting because it kind of shows you their workflow, their thought process. And this is a big reason employers and people like to see these in portfolios. It doesn't have to be an animation, but just saving these steps kind of allows you to show them off in images. It allows you to show them off in animations or any way that you want. So I would just go to export, save for web, save it as, and keep these same settings. You can also save these presets if you like. So lastly, before we run out of time, I do want to talk about creating a Behance project. So if you have not done this, this is the perfect time because we've done all these challenges. You know, maybe you've done all of them, maybe you've done a few, but it's great to share this on Behance. So if you go to your portfolio here, and this is mine, you can do share work up at the top, and I'll click project. So from here, we can put any of our images in that we've done throughout these 2 weeks. Let me see here. What do I want to pull up? I'll put my whole project on so you guys can see this after today. I'm going to share all of these, but maybe I'll just click a couple of these. And it's loading. I added a few at once. This one's loading for a bit. This is the, I would probably make this a bit smaller. We did make it quite large. There's the animation. Showing that off on our project. We got the vintage one that we did yesterday. We got the portal. I had a lot of fun with the portal. I had a lot of fun with this one too. So you can set these up in any way you want. But I wanted to give you a heads up that you can insert, you know, you can put titles up here if you do text. You can put images. So we can enter some text here. Project 1. You could put images up here if you want to make the titles kind of fancy. But you can change the font. You can change the size. You can put it as a header. You can orient in the middle. There's a lot of great flexibility with portfolios on Behance. I've always enjoyed uploading to these because it's a lot easier than some other platforms I've used, but they give you a lot of flexibility. You can go in here, you know, you can do like project to the portal, portal. And like I said, there's some nice text options here, but you could do like fancy text headers. I highly recommend looking at good Behance portfolios. There's some awesome ones from people who participate in these challenges. If you just browse Behance, you'll see different ways and clever ways people present. Presentation is a big part of kind of like showing off your work and, you know, producing work. And if you have a portfolio or a website or anything like that, it's sometimes an overlooked area. It's something I've had to learn more about moving, you know, like from the beginning, I was so concentrated on my art, I didn't really focus much on presentation, but it's huge. So look up inspiration, find reference, you know, all that stuff. And that's how you do it. Hopefully that helps. You can always continue, save as draft, and all the options are here on the right. But I do have to head out. It is time, guys. Thanks so much for joining me for all these challenges. I've really had a good time. I hope you've enjoyed them as well. I will see you in the Discord. Definitely share your designs there. And you guys have an awesome weekend. See you next time, everyone. Great job.